Now let me tell you something straight from the heart, and I want you to lean in because this ain't just another feel-good message. This right here is a reality check with a little sugar on top. Trust me, wards. You are the one they truly want. You may not believe it right now because you've been through too many moments where people made you question your worth. But baby, let me tell you, wards. Sometimes the universe hides your value until the right season because not everybody is ready for your kind of real, your kind of love, your kind of power, wards. You ever notice how folks don't realize what they had until you're gone, how they start remembering your laugh when they hear silence, your voice when the world gets quiet, your love when they feel empty? Yeah, that's because your energy lingers. Real souls don't disappear. They echo. They stay in the back of people's minds like a song they can't get out of their head, even when they try. Wards. They still humming you in their sleep. That's your impact. See, some of y'all been out here thinking you're not enough just cause somebody could handle your honesty. But let me tell you, rewards. It's not your job to dim your truth so other people can stay comfortable in their confusion. You don't need to shrink to be loved. If your energy was too much, maybe they was too small. That's not arrogance. Wards. That's alignment. You ever seen a diamond sitting in the dirt? Still a diamond, right? The mud don't change its value. Wards. It just hides its shine until somebody patient enough comes along to clean it up and say, damn, I almost walked past this treasure. That's you, baby. You've been through dust, pain, tears, heartbreaks. But none of that made you less. It made you rare. It made you real. See, what most people don't understand is that real love, real connection, real energy don't move fast. Wards. It don't show up just to entertain you. It shows up to change you. And when somebody meets you, the real you, not the performance version, not the people pleaser version, but the raw, kind, loud, sensitive, wards. Flawed, funny, deep you. It scares them because they ain't used to authenticity, they used to convenience. And you ain't convenience, your conviction, your clarity, wards. Now I know some of you out there have been crying at night. Say, why didn't they choose me? Why didn't they stay? But what if I told you they did choose you? Just too late, wards. And now they got to live with that ache, that ghost of what could have been. They think about you when they scroll, when they drive, when they hear your song, and they can't explain it. Wards. Because you ain't just another person. You were a mirror, and mirrors don't lie. You ever meet somebody and your spirit just says, wards. There you are. But then life pulls y'all apart because timing ain't ready. That's the kind of connection that never dies. It just sleeps. And baby, trust me, when they finally grow, wards, when they finally heal, when they finally get tired of fast food, love, and surface level attention, they gonna remember you, the one who gave them soul food when they was snacking on empty compliments. See, wards. When you carry light, darkness gets uncomfortable. That's why some people ghost you, not because they didn't care, but because your energy exposed their shadows. And instead of growing, they ran wards. And now they out there trying to fill the void you left with distractions. But nothing hits the same because energy don't lie. Let me make it plain. The reason you keep showing up in their dreams, wards, in their thoughts, in their random moments, is because your spirit made a mark that time can't erase. They can date around, they can laugh, they can pretend, but deep down, they know they had the one, wards. The one who really saw them, the one who really cared, the one who held space for them when they couldn't even hold space for themselves. And that's why I'm saying, trust me, wards. You are the one they truly want. They just too proud or too broken to say it. Now don't get it twisted. I ain't telling you to wait on nobody. I'm telling you to walk like you already the blessing, wards. Because you are, when you start valuing yourself like you're the prize, the right people will stop playing with you. Your energy will filter the fake from the faithful, and suddenly you won't chase wards. You'll attract, you gotta understand, the universe don't waste good hearts. Your love don't vanish. It circulates until it lands in the right soul. So if they couldn't meet you where you stood, wards. That's fine. Somebody's being built right now who will. Somebody out there praying for a heart like yours. Somebody who won't need to lose you to appreciate you. And while you wait, wards. Don't sit there thinking you ain't enough. Build yourself, glow up, laugh harder, heal louder, become so aligned that when they think about you, they feel peace instead of pain. Wards. Because that's when you know you've mastered your power. Now let me talk about energy for a second, because this is important. When your spirit's strong, you don't got to chase attention. It chases you wards. You ever walk into a room and people just look, not cause of how you dress, because of how you carry yourself, that quiet confidence that says, I know who I am, I know what I bring. That's magnetic. Wards. And people who once doubted you start questioning themselves. That's the beauty of self-awareness. You ever had someone treat you like you were replaceable, and then they realize they can't replace peace? Wards. They can't replace laughter that's real. They can't replace love that listens. So they go searching for versions of you in other people. And every time they think they found it, or as life reminds them, there's only one you. That's why I say, trust me. You are the one they truly want, not the flashy, not the loud, not the convenient, but the one who touched their soul without trying. Wards. The one who made him feel safe, the one who prayed for them even when they didn't know it. And when they finally heal enough to admit it, you'll already be somewhere living your peace, looking good. Wards. Smelling like boundaries, walking like purpose. And let me tell you this too, sometimes the reason you feel their energy so strong is because they still connected to you spiritually. Rewards. That's why you get that random thought, that sudden song, that flashback at midnight. That's their energy reaching out, not always to come back, but to remind you that your love was real. Rewards, and it left fingerprints on their soul. Now, if you ever doubt your worth, remember this. People don't miss average, they miss impact. And you were impact, you were laughter on their worst days. Wards, peace in their chaos, love in their confusion, and they can't unfeel that no matter how many distractions they chase, no matter how many faces they try to get lost in, it's you they compare. Wards. It's you they remember, it's you they want, and I need you to stop thinking that being alone means you lost. No. Wards. Sometimes solitude is just God's way of clearing your space, so only the real ones can enter. Sometimes He'll make sure the wrong ones walk away, so the right ones can find you. Wards. So don't you dare beg to be understood in rooms that can't handle your truth. Your light will blind people who still live in shadows. Let it. Don't apologize for growing. Wards. You got to believe that what's meant for you won't miss you, not cause of luck, but cause of alignment. And when that person who's been thinking about you, dreaming about you, wards, missing, you finally gets brave enough to show up, you won't even need to ask why. You'll feel it. The energy gonna tell you, the silence gonna speak. See, the truth is love ain't about possession. Wards. It's about recognition. The real ones don't need to own you to honor you. They just know deep down, that one right there, they different. And maybe they ain't ready for it right now. Wards. Maybe they got to go through life to learn your worth. But one day they'll look back and realize every road led back to the memory of you. And when that day comes, I hope you're standing tall, smelling rewards, living not bitter, just better, because that's what your story deserves. Life has a funny way of teaching you who you really are. Wards. You don't know your strength until you've been overlooked and still stood tall, until you've been doubted and still delivered, until you've been left out and still loved yourself anyway. Wards. That's when you learn that your worth ain't up for negotiation. And baby, once you learn that lesson, the whole world starts moving different. Wards. You ever notice that the same people who couldn't see you when you were building suddenly start remembering your name when you start shining? That's not coincidence. That's karma in a suit and tie. Wards. That's life reminding them what they threw away. But the thing is, you ain't even mad. You just smile because you finally see that rejection was redirection. You didn't lose them. You lost delay. Rewards and gained destiny. See, sometimes God hides you while He upgrades you. He'll make sure the wrong eyes can't recognize you until you're ready. He'll protect your value while you're healing. Wards. Because He knows if they got access too early, they'd misuse what they don't understand. So when you feel alone, When you feel forgotten, just remember you're in construction and baby, rewards. When the curtains open, you gonna be the masterpiece. And listen, when you love hard, it's natural to wonder if they think about you, if they miss you, if they care. But trust me, if they do, wards. They might not say it, they might not show it, but their spirit does, because real connection don't die. It just humbles you until you learn the lesson, wards. And the lesson is this: love yourself the way you love them, give yourself that attention, that patience, that grace, because you deserve it more than anyone else. You ever wake up one day and feel lighter? Wards, like something shifted. That's not random. That's your energy reclaiming its space. That's your peace coming home. That's your spirit saying, wards. I'm done begging to be seen. And from that day on, you walk different, you talk different, you glow different. And the same people who left you start feeling that glow from miles away, wards. And suddenly they remember every good thing you did, every word you said, every moment you showed up when nobody else did. That's why I keep saying, trust me, you are the one they truly want, wards. Because the truth always comes out, maybe not when you want it to, but when it's meant to, and when it does, you'll see how every heartbreak was secretly pushing you toward your higher self, wards. You'll realize that love wasn't supposed to break you. It was supposed to shape you. And to the people in the back thinking, but if they really wanted me, wards, they'd be here. Let me break it down. Sometimes love ain't about being next to somebody. It's about being remembered by them, wards. It's about the echo of your kindness that plays in their head when they meet somebody new. It's about the standard you set that they can't forget. You shifted their definition of love, wards. And now every time they meet someone, they compare it to you, and they don't even mean to. Now, I know some of y'all got that text you never sent, that memory you can't delete, rewards. That picture you keep scrolling past real slow, that's all right, that's human, it don't make you weak. It means you cared. But here's the thing, don't camp in the past, visit if you need to, wards, reflect if you have to, but don't live there, because the future got your name on it, and it's waiting on you to show up healed, not haunted. You see, wards being the one they truly want don't mean you got to be the one who waits. It means you got to be the one who rises, the one who evolves, the one who takes the pain and turns it into power, wards. Because when you glow, you grow. And when you grow, everything meant for you starts gravitating back. You don't chase it, you attract it. You don't beg, you believe, you don't look back. You level up, wards. And when they finally come around, and some will, don't even flex, don't throw it in their face, just smile and keep it moving, because peace is the loudest revenge, and joy is the prettiest comeback, wards. They go and see you laughing, living, loving, and they go and say, damn, they really were the one, and you just go and whisper under your breath, I know. Let's talk about confidence for a minute, because this part right here is important. Confidence ain't arrogance, it's self-respect with posture. It's knowing you're the table, rewards, not just a seat at one. It's walking into every room like your presence is purpose, not permission. You don't beg for love when you realize you bring peace. Wards, you don't chase validation when you remember you came with value. And that energy, oh, it travels, baby, it travels far. That's why they think about you even when you miles apart, wards. Because your energy carries your signature. You left something in their atmosphere that no distance can erase. And sometimes they wake up thinking about you not because they miss the old times, wards, because their soul recognizes what it lost. Now let me make you laugh a little. You ever had that ex or that friend who swore they'd be fine without you? They post in quotes like, wards. I'm better now drinking green juice, doing yoga, talking about peace. But they can't stop checking your story. They can't stop asking mutual friends, how you doing, wards. They can't stop running into songs that sound like you, and you just sitting there smiling like, see, told you. That's your energy still working, still teaching, still testing, rewards. But instead of laughing at, cause without them, you wouldn't have met your strength. You wouldn't have learned that boundaries are beautiful. You wouldn't have discovered that silence is powerful, that solitude is sacred, And that self-love ain't selfish, it's survival. I want you to stand in that truth, chin up, heart open, smile on wards. Because you didn't just survive, you transformed. You went from thinking, why me, to saying, watch me. And that shift right there is when you become unstoppable wards. That's when you start attracting everything aligned with your frequency, and people who truly see you will step forward, while the ones who just wanted your light will fade. And one day, mark my words, rewards. Somebody's going to look at you and say, where have you been all my life? And you'll smile because you know the answer. Growing, you were out there, collecting lessons, building peace, wards, learning patience, preparing for the kind of love that doesn't drain but restores, doesn't confuse but confirms. And when that love arrives, you're going to understand why the rest didn't work. See, wards. Love that's meant for you won't compete with your purpose. It'll complement it. It'll feel like calm, not chaos. It'll speak life, not doubt. And when you feel that, wards, you'll know this is the energy that matches mine. This is the person who doesn't just want me. They're ready for me. And until that day, you walk like it's already on its way. So tonight, rewards. When you go home and look in the mirror, I want you to really see yourself, not through the lens of who left, but through the eyes of who's still here, wards. You made it through storms that were supposed to drown you. You rebuilt yourself from pieces that others left behind, and you still smile. That's power, that's beauty, that's divine, wards. And if nobody told you today, let me be the first. You are chosen, you are loved, you are remembered, you are missed, you are prayed for, and yes, trust me, you are the one they truly want. But more importantly, wards, you're the one the universe is preparing. So keep walking in purpose, keep laughing with faith, keep speaking life over yourself, because somewhere out there, wards, someone's rehearsing how they gon' apologize, how they gon' show up, how they gon' make it right. But by the time they get there, you gon' be so far ahead, they'll have to meet you at your peace, wards, not your pain. And when that happens, don't gloat, just glow. Don't boast, just bless, smile, and say, it's all good, wards. I'm glad you found your clarity, because forgiveness frees you faster than anger ever will. And the real win ain't getting them back, it's getting yourself back. So yeah, trust me, wards. You are the one they truly want. But more than that, you're the one who truly matters. And the world's been waiting on your shine. Now go out there, walk like your name's written in purpose, wards. Talk like peace follows your voice. Love like you've never been broken. Laugh like life owes you joy. And every step you take, let the world feel the rhythm of your confidence, the melody of your healing, wards. The sound of your victory, because the story ain't over, baby. It's just getting good, and the next chapter's written by a stronger, wiser, happier you. And when people see you now, they'll whisper, wards. That's the one I told you about. And you just keep walking, smile, and say under your breath, I know, straight, sometimes your silence screams louder than your words, wards. Sometimes your absence becomes the mirror people never wanted to look into, the truth they've been avoiding, the reflection they can't escape. See, when you always show up, always give, always fix, wards, people get used to it. They start thinking your light is permanent, your energy is free, your love is guaranteed. But when you pull back, when you stop feeding what doesn't feed you rewards, that's when they start realizing what your presence was really worth. You ever been that person who kept checking on everybody, making sure they were okay? Wards, carrying folks on your back even when your own knees were shaking, and still they acted like you were doing too much, like your loyalty was optional. But the minute you disappear, the minute you say, nah, rewards, I'm done pouring into empty cups, suddenly the phone rings, suddenly the messages come, suddenly they remember your name, not because they miss you, wards, but because they missed the version of themselves that felt better when you were around. See, some people only learn gratitude in the echo of your goodbye. They don't appreciate warmth until they meet cold, wards. They don't value loyalty until they feel alone, and that's the hard truth. Your absence becomes the teacher, the lesson, the mirror. It shows them how much of their peace, their laughter, wards, their confidence came from your presence. You ever walk away from someone and later they act like you changed, like you the villain? But deep down, you know all you did was stop tolerating what was breaking you. You stopped explaining your worth to people who already knew it, but chose to ignore it. And the beautiful thing is, wards. The moment you step back, the whole dynamic shifts because people start realizing that what they thought was replaceable was actually rare, that what they took for granted was actually sacred. Wards. Sometimes life will force you to disappear so others can see the storm you were holding back. You've been protecting people from their own chaos with your calm. You've been carrying peace into every room. Wards, and they didn't even know it. But when you leave, the silence becomes loud. They start feeling that emptiness, and it hits different because it ain't about ego. It's about energy. And let me tell you, wards, your presence ain't just physical. It's spiritual, emotional, energetic. When you walk into a space, you change the temperature, you shift the atmosphere. People feel lighter, calmer, stronger. Wards. And they don't always notice it until you've gone, until they start looking for that same feeling in other places and can't find it. They go to new circles, new faces, new situations, wards. But it never hits the same because your energy can't be duplicated. You ever had people tell you, you changed. But what they really mean is, you stopped letting me use you. And suddenly, you're the bad guy. But let me tell you, that's the price of growth. That's the cost of peace. And when you stop showing up for chaos, chaos starts missing you. Wards. That's when people realize you weren't just part of their life, you were the balance in it. Sometimes your absence is the most powerful statement you'll ever make. Rewards. Because it teaches what your presence couldn't. When you were there, they didn't listen. When you spoke, they didn't hear. But when you left, your silence became a sermon. Wards. It taught them everything they refused to learn while they had you. You see, you were the glue in a lot of broken spaces, the light in a lot of dark hearts, the calm in a lot of storms. And people got comfortable with your consistency. They started thinking peace was a personality trait instead of a practice. Love was a guarantee instead of a gift. And when you finally step away, wards, that's when they start realizing, damn, that wasn't normal, that was grace. And I know it hurts sometimes to walk away because your heart still cares, your soul still remembers. But trust me, your absence ain't punishment, it's purpose. It's God saying, you've done enough. Now let the silence speak. It's the universe showing people what life feels like without your healing. Wards. Without your humor, without your heart, and believe me, it don't feel good to them. You ever notice how when you pull back, people start showing you who they really are? The ones who valued you will reach out. The ones who used you will get offended. The ones who loved you will ask, are you okay? The ones who drained you will ask, why you changing? See, absence reveals truth faster than time ever could. Wards. It separates the genuine from the convenient, the loyal from the lonely. And when that realization hits them, when they finally see the gap your presence filled, it humbles them. Wards. Because now they understand that your love was never about attention. It was about intention. Your kindness was never weakness. It was wisdom. Your patience was never passive. It was powerful. Wards. And now that it's gone, they feel it in ways they can't describe. You ever been around people who didn't clap when you were winning, but suddenly started remembering you when they needed something? Wards. That's the part right there that tests your heart. But don't you fall for it. Don't you water the same plant that refused to grow. Let your absence do the talking. Let your silence set the boundaries. Wards. Because one day they'll tell somebody, you know what, they were always good to me, I just didn't see it. And maybe that's the point. Wards. Maybe you were sent to teach love through your presence and teach loss through your absence. Maybe your energy was their mirror, reflecting all the things they needed to fix. Wards. And sometimes people can't handle that kind of clarity, so they run from it. But what they don't realize is you can run from a person, but you can't run from conviction. Wards. Your energy stays in their spirit until they learn the lesson. See, your absence don't just teach others. It teaches you too. It shows you who checks on you when you quiet. Wards, who still calls when you stop calling, who still shows up when you stop serving. It teaches you who saw you for your soul and who saw you for your service. And that right there is freedom, because once you learn it, you stop explaining yourself, you stop begging for reciprocity, you start walking like peace is your priority. And baby, that's growth. Wards. And here's the truth, your presence was a gift, but your absence is a revelation. It's a mirror, a magnifier, a moment of clarity that no argument could ever create, because people might ignore your words, wards, but they can't ignore the void. They can't ignore how quiet their world feels without your laughter. They can't ignore how cold their heart feels without your warmth. Or wards, and they can't ignore how empty their life feels without your presence. And sometimes it's not about revenge or pride, it's about peace, wards. It's about letting your absence speak the truth your words couldn't deliver. It's about saying, I'm done explaining, not out of anger, but out of acceptance. Acceptance that you did your part, wards. You gave your best. And now it's time for the lesson to begin, not for you, but for them. And trust me, they're going to learn slowly, quietly, painfully, but they will learn, wards. They'll start realizing that every other conversation feels shallow, every other connection feels forced, every other smile feels fake, and that's when they'll remember you, rewards. Not the version they criticized, but the version they needed, the version that held them down when nobody else did, and they'll wish they had said thank you, but you'll be long gone, wards. That's when they'll understand the power of your presence, that your energy wasn't just a vibe, it was value. Your laughter wasn't just noise, it was healing. Your support wasn't just help, it was hope, wards. And that's when your absence becomes their teacher, their reminder, their regret. When you finally walk away, don't look back out of guilt, rewards. Because people will try to pull you back with the same hands that once pushed you away. They'll say things like, you've changed. But you know what? Change is the evidence of growth, wards. Stagnation is the proof of comfort, and comfort is the enemy of purpose. So don't apologize for the distance you created to protect your peace, because that distance is where your healing happens, wards. It's where your energy resets. It's where you remember who you are when you're not constantly trying to prove your worth to people who forgot how to see it. You see, there's power in absence, rewards. Power in quiet, power in walking away with dignity instead of drama, because silence speaks a language louder than shouting ever could. It says, wards. I'm done playing small just to make others comfortable. It says, I'm done teaching people how to treat me when they should have learned the first time. And most importantly, it says, wards. I love myself enough to leave, and that kind of love is what separates those who repeat lessons from those who graduate from them. And you know what's funny, wards, people always notice when you start acting different, but they never pay attention to what made you change. They notice the reaction, not the reason. They see the distance, not the damage, wards. And they call it attitude when it's really self-respect. They call it pride when it's really boundaries. They call it cold when it's really clarity. And once you understand that, you stop explaining rewards, you stop defending, and you start protecting your peace like it's sacred, because it is. Let me tell you something. Some folks ain't evil. They just lazy with your love. War, they got too comfortable with your effort, too used to your forgiveness, too spoiled by your patience, and your absence is the only thing that shakes them out of that comfort, wards. Because people value what they have to work for, not what they can always reach. And when you remove yourself, you reintroduce scarcity, wards. And scarcity breeds appreciation. You were the sunlight in their shadow, and they didn't even realize it. You were the one keeping their chaos balanced. You were the calm in their noise, rewards, the anchor in their drift. And the moment you step away, they start feeling the imbalance. The silence gets heavier, the louder fades quicker. And that's when it hits them, wards. It was never the situation that gave me peace. It was the person. And baby, that person was you. Sometimes people need to lose you to find themselves, and sometimes you need to lose them to find your worth. Because absence is not always about punishment. It's about perspective. It's about taking a step back so both sides can see the truth. And here's the real talk. Your absence is not a threat. Words. It's a test, and only the real ones pass it. You ever notice how some folks only miss you when they can't use you, how they suddenly check in when they feel you slipping away, not because they care, words, but because they're afraid of losing control of your energy? That's manipulation in disguise. And you got to be strong enough to see it, words, because they'll text you like, you good. But what they really mean is, are you still available to make me feel better about myself? And you can't fall for that. Not anymore. Not after you learned your worth through the silence. See, you're not just a presence, you're a whole experience. Words. And people don't realize that until they try to replace you. And every new connection feels like diet energy, no flavor, no substance, no soul. They'll meet people who talk like you but can't listen like you. Words. Who smile like you but can't heal like you, who look the part but can't feel the part. And that's when they start understanding your presence was not ordinary. Words. It was divine, and here's the truth. You were the consistency they prayed for, but weren't prepared to handle. You were the blessing they asked for, but didn't have the maturity to sustain. Words. And when you left, your absence became the consequence of their carelessness. The silence became the echo of their decisions. Words. And your distance became the mirror of their mistakes. But don't you carry guilt for that, because your job was never to fix. It was to shine. It was to love with integrity and walk away with peace. Words. It was to teach without preaching, to love without losing yourself, and to give without expectations. You did your part. You showed up. You gave grace. You forgave. You prayed. And now it's time to rest. Words, because your absence ain't cruel. Words. It's closure, and let me drop this on you. The same people who didn't appreciate you when you were available will start talking about how you changed when you stopped catering to their comfort. Words. And that's okay. Let him talk, because your absence will reveal more truth than your presence ever could when you were there. They didn't listen. Now that you're gone, words. They replay every conversation in their head, wondering how they missed the signs, wondering why you pulled away, wondering how they lost someone who gave them peace. Words. And I want you to know this. Your energy was never the problem. It was the power. Your love wasn't too much. It was too real. Your heart wasn't the issue, it was the gift. Words. But people who haven't healed can't handle healthy love. They'll sabotage what they don't understand. They'll test what they don't trust. Words. And they'll take for granted what they assume will always be there. But when you finally walk away, that's when they understand what presence really meant. And one day, while they scroll through old messages or see your name pop up somewhere, they'll pause. They'll feel that ache in their chest, that little voice whispering, words, you messed up. And it won't be anger they feel, it'll be emptiness, because the kind of peace you brought don't come twice. The kind of love you gave don't recycle. Words. And the kind of presence you carry don't repeat. It's once in a lifetime, and baby, they had it. And that's the beauty of your absence. It doesn't just teach them, it elevates you. Rewards. It frees your energy from places it was wasted. It creates space for blessings that match your vibration. It reminds you that you don't have to chase what's already yours. Words. And that you can love people from a distance without letting them drain your soul, because love ain't always about holding on. Sometimes it's about letting go gracefully. When you walk in purpose, words. Not everyone will clap, not everyone will understand, but your absence from the wrong rooms is what creates your entrance into the right ones. Every time you say no to chaos, you're saying yes to peace. Every time you choose silence over arguments, you're choosing growth. Every time you pull back from people who drain you, words. You're making room for people who pour into you. That's evolution, not arrogance. And I know sometimes it hurts to be missed for the wrong reasons, to be remembered when it's too late. Words. To be valued only in your absence. But that's not your pain to carry. That's their lesson to learn, because love that's not valued becomes a lecture life will repeat until they get it right. Words. And your absence is the chalkboard they'll write their regret on, and one day they'll sit alone thinking about how easy it was to have you, how safe it felt to be around you. Words, how peaceful their heart was when your energy filled the room, and they'll wonder how they ever let that go. And that's when the realization hits. Not every presence can be replaced. Not every silence is forgetfulness. Some silences are sacred. Some absences are eternal reminders. And that's why you keep walking, keep smiling, keep glowing. Words. Because your absence is speaking for you now. It's teaching them while elevating you. It's reminding you that you were never hard to love. Words. You were just offering love to people who didn't know what to do with it. And that's okay. They'll learn not from your return, but from your removal, not from your words, but from your absence. Words. And let me leave you with this truth. The day you learn to be okay with not being understood, not being appreciated, not being chosen, is the day you master peace. And once you master peace, words, you become the lesson, you become the mirror, you become the one they'll think about when they finally realize what love, loyalty, and light truly feel like. Rewards. And that's the legacy of your absence. It becomes the teacher of worth, the proof of your power, and the echo of your energy. So hold your head high. Don't chase what faded. Don't beg for what broke. Rewards. Don't explain what's already obvious. Just walk in your purpose, because your absence is not emptiness. It's elevation. It's protection. It's transformation. Words. Is God removing you from where your soul no longer grows and planting you where your value will be seen, respected, and reciprocated. So when you hear the whispers, when you feel the pull, words, when you sense the regret floating in the air, smile, not out of pride, but out of peace, because you know now your absence did the talking, your silence told the story, your energy left the mark. Words. And your presence, your presence was worth far more than they ever realized. And baby, that's the truth they'll never forget. When somebody truly values you, words, you'll never have to wonder where you stand. You'll never have to chase a text, question a tone, decode a silence, or beg for effort, because real value speaks through consistency, not confusion. Words. And when someone sees your worth, they don't make you fight for clarity. They give it to you naturally. They make you feel safe, seen, and solid, not anxious, small, and uncertain. Words. And that right there is the difference between love and lessons, between presence and performance, between attention and intention. See, too many people get used to being half loved, half respected, half chosen. Words. And they start calling it normal. But let me tell you, it ain't normal to question your worth in someone else's story. It ain't love if you got to keep asking. What are we? Do you care? Words. Am I enough? Because the one who truly values you will make it obvious. They won't keep you guessing. They'll make you rest, not stress. They'll bring peace, not puzzles. Rewards. And you'll never have to chase what's already claiming you. Words. You ever notice how the wrong people make you feel like you're too much, and the right people make you realize you were just too good for the wrong crowd? Words. The ones who don't value you will keep taking from you till there's nothing left, and then blame you for being empty, but the one who values you will pour into you just as much as you pour into them. Words. They'll match your energy, not drain it. They'll add to your peace, not test it. And when they speak, it won't be out of manipulation, it'll be out of meaning. Words. Let's talk about this truth. Value ain't about words, it's about actions, because anybody can say, I love you, but not everybody can show it when it's inconvenient. Words. Real love don't disappear when things get difficult. Real value don't run when you set a boundary. And real loyalty don't shrink when you shine. So when someone truly values you, words. They don't compete with your light. They protect it. They don't get jealous of your growth. They water it. They don't keep you small. They celebrate your expansion. Words. And here's the part most folks don't want to hear. When you know your worth, you stop auditioning for people who already know they don't deserve you. Words. You stop chasing explanations from folks who ain't capable of understanding your depth. You stop begging for love that you have to shrink yourself to receive. Words. And you start realizing that not everyone who wants you is qualified to keep you, because not everybody got the emotional credit to afford your kind of soul. Rewards. The one who values you will never make you feel like loving you is hard work. They'll make you feel like loving you is home. They'll see your flaws and still stay wards. They'll see your past and still choose your future. They won't bring up your pain to win an argument. They'll bring up your peace to build a solution. And that right there is rare. That right there is gold, wards. That right there is what people search for, but don't always recognize when it's right in front of them. You ever give your all to somebody who made you feel like your all wasn't enough, and then later realize they couldn't even handle half of you. See, sometimes the problem ain't your worth, it's their capacity. Some people just ain't built to hold the kind of love you carry, wards. They're used to shallow, they're used to temporary, they're used to conditional. And when they meet someone who loves with honesty, who shows up with integrity, who gives with purity, it exposes their lack, wards. And instead of rising to meet your standard, they'll try to make you question your own. But listen, when someone truly values you, they'll make the effort to meet you where you are, wards. They won't punish you for your emotions. They'll appreciate your openness. They won't call your sensitivity weakness. They'll see it as connection, wards. They won't label your standards too high. They'll see M as a reflection of what you've been through and what you've learned. Because value recognizes value, worth attracts worth, wards. And love that's real don't make you shrink, it makes you grow. And that's the difference between attachment and appreciation. Attachment says, I need you so I don't feel alone. Appreciation says, wards. I see you, I respect you, I'm grateful for you. Attachment feeds off fear. Appreciation flows from peace. And when you find someone who values you, they don't need to control you to keep you close, rewards. Because they know love without freedom ain't love. It's fear dressed up in affection. You ever been in a room with someone who made you feel invisible, rewards. Like you could be right there next to him and still not be seen. And then one day you meet someone who looks at you like you're the whole sky, like they can't believe God made you real. That's value, rewards. That's recognition, that's alignment. And that's what happens when the right energy meets yours. They don't just notice you, they honor you. They don't just love you, they understand you, wards. And when you speak, they don't listen to reply, they listen to remember. You can always tell when somebody values you by how they handle your vulnerability. When you open up, wards, do they hold it with care or use it for control? When you share your weakness, do they protect it or weaponize it? Because people who value you will never use your pain as a punchline, wards. They'll never mock your emotions or minimize your dreams. They'll never let you fight alone. And they'll never make you question if you're too much to love. Wards, let me say this, the one who truly values you won't need you to prove your worth, because they already see it, they already feel it, they already know that you're not replacing what's broken in them, wards. You're adding what's divine in both of you, and when that kind of connection happens, it don't feel like pressure, it feels like peace, it don't feel like performance, it feels like partnership, wards. And baby, that's when you realize love don't have to hurt to be real. Love that's healthy feels like breathing, not suffocating. When someone values you, they check on you without a reason, rewards. They notice your energy shift without you saying a word. They celebrate your wins like they're their own. They defend your name when you're not in the room. They don't disappear when life gets heavy, wards. They double down. They don't just love you on your good days. They hold you tighter on your bad ones. And when you cry, wards, they don't say, you're too emotional. They say, I got you. That's what value looks like. And when you find that, when you feel that, you'll never settle again for half-hearted effort, for on and off attention, for temporary affection dressed up as forever promises. Because once you've been valued right, you can't be devalued wrong. Rewards, you'll know the difference between being wanted and being respected, between being chased and being chosen. And that kind of awareness changes everything, wards. You'll start seeing who really values you by how they handle your boundaries, because boundaries are not walls, they're gates. And the people who respect them are the ones who understand your worth, rewards. The ones who get mad when you set M are the ones who are only benefiting from your lack of and the one who truly values you will never guilt trip you for choosing peace, Rewards. They'll never make you feel selfish for resting. They'll never punish you for growing, because love that's real celebrates your evolution, even if it means they have to grow too. Rewards. You ever notice how when you stop over explaining yourself, the wrong people call you distant, but the right people call you peaceful? Because when someone values you, they don't demand access, they earn it. Rewards. They don't assume loyalty, they build it. They don't test your patience, they honor your time. And that's how you know value ain't loud, it's consistent. Love ain't dramatic, it's dependable. Rewards. And when someone truly sees you, they make you feel steady, not scared. And let me tell you, it's not about perfection, it's about effort. The one who values you will mess up sometimes, sure. Rewards. But they'll own it, they'll apologize, they'll adjust. They won't gaslight you or flip the blame. They'll say, you're right, I could have handled that better. They'll say, rewards. I understand why that hurt you. They'll take accountability without making you beg for it, because people who value you care more about the connection than their ego. And when you find that, rewards, you'll feel it. It's not fireworks and chaos, it's steady and safe. It's laughter in the middle of storms. It's communication instead of confusion. It's peace that don't require explanation. Rewards. It's love that feels like home even when life gets loud. And that's the beauty of being valued. It makes you softer without making you weak. It makes you open without making you anxious. Rewards. It reminds you that love, real love, don't make you question your worth. It confirms it every day without saying a word. When you start realizing what real value feels like, rewards. Your standards don't become higher, they become healthier. You stop negotiating with disrespect. You stop making excuses for inconsistency. Rewards. You stop calling almost love close enough. Because once you've been seen for who you are, you can't go back to begging to be noticed once you've been valued right. Rewards. You can't go back to explaining why you deserve effort. And that's the shift. That's the transformation that happens when you finally learn your worth. Rewards. And you'll notice something. When you know your worth, peace becomes louder than attention, silence becomes sweeter than drama, solitude becomes safer than confusion. Rewards. You stop wanting to be chosen by everybody and start choosing yourself first. You stop thinking validation is love, because love that's real don't need proof, it just needs presence. Rewards. And people who truly value you show up, not out of obligation, but out of appreciation. They make you feel like a priority, not a placeholder. Rewards. The one who values you won't just love the version of you that's happy and confident. They'll love the version that's tired and quiet too. They'll stand beside you when the world gets heavy. Rewards. They'll hold space for you when you're trying to figure it out. They'll love you even when you can't love yourself. And that right there is rare. That right there is divine. Rewards. Because most people love you for what you do for them, but the one who values you loves you for who you are to them. And let me say this, rewards. People who don't value you will always test how far they can go before you walk away. They'll keep taking pieces of your peace until you finally realize that protecting your energy is not selfish. Rewards, it's sacred. They'll gaslight you into thinking your expectations are too high when all you ever wanted was consistency. Rewards. They'll make you feel like you're asking for too much when all you wanted was effort. But let me tell you, the one who truly values you will never make you beg for the basics. Rewards. Because when someone values you, they don't just tell you they care. They show up when it matters. They check in without reminders. They pay attention to what makes you smile. Rewards. They remember what you said when you thought they weren't listening. They make you feel understood. And that kind of connection don't need validation, because you can feel it in the way they treat you. Rewards. You'll never have to chase communication with someone who values you. You'll never have to beg for honesty from someone who respects you. Rewards. And you'll never have to wonder if you're too much for someone who truly sees you, because when they see your worth, they protect it, they nurture it, they uplift it. Rewards. And they make you feel like love isn't a battlefield, it's a blessing. You ever been loved in a way that healed parts of you you didn't even talk about? That's what real value does. Rewards. It doesn't expose your wounds. It helps them close. It doesn't judge your scars. It honors the stories behind. It doesn't compare you to others. It reminds you that you're one of one. Rewards. And that right there is why you should never settle for being tolerated when you deserve to be treasured. And listen, love that values you won't come with constant confusion. Rewards. You won't have to decode mixed signals or wonder if you're replacable. You'll know it's real because peace will be the foundation, not anxiety. Rewards. You'll know it's safe because the effort won't fade. When the novelty does, you'll know it's worth keeping because the actions will speak louder than every promise. Rewards. And you'll feel seen without having to perform. The one who values you won't compete with your dreams. They'll contribute to M. They won't feel threatened by your success. Rewards. They'll be inspired by it. They won't need to dim your light to make their shine. They'll stand beside you in it. They'll tell the world, that's my person. And mean it. Rewards. Not as possession, but as pride. Because value don't need to control, it celebrates, and love that's real don't restrict, it expands. And when you find yourself surrounded by people who value you, rewards. Your peace changes, you sleep better, your energy flows freer, your laughter sounds different because you're not performing anymore, you're just existing in truth. Rewards. You're not afraid of losing what's real because what's real can't be lost. You're not scared to speak your mind because you know they'll listen, not attack. Rewards. You're not afraid of distance because you know effort bridges every gap that ego can't. And if someone makes you question your worth, let that be your answer. Rewards. Let their inconsistency reveal what their words were hiding. Let their silence show you their priorities, because the one who truly values you will never make you compete for peace. Rewards. They'll never make you fight for a place they claim you have. They'll never leave you hanging in confusion. Because love that's true don't play hide and seek. It shows up every day. Rewards. In the smallest ways that mean the most. And sometimes the lesson ain't about finding who values you. It's about recognizing who doesn't and releasing him without anger, without revenge. Rewards. Just gratitude. Gratitude for what they taught you, for how they made you see your worth through their inability to match it. Rewards. Because every person who couldn't value you was part of the process that prepared you for the one who will. And that's why even the pain has purpose. The one who values you won't make you chase closure. Rewards. They'll bring clarity. They won't ghost you when things get uncomfortable. They'll communicate. They won't hide pride when they hurt you. They'll apologize. Rewards. They won't make love conditional on perfection. They'll accept you exactly as you are. And you'll realize that love don't have to be complicated to be powerful. Rewards. Sometimes peace is the loudest proof of passion. You'll know its value when you feel safe to be silent. You'll know it's real when you can sit in stillness and still feel seen. Rewards. You'll know it's love when you stop questioning if you're enough and start realizing you always were. You'll know its worth when you don't have to earn what flows naturally. Rewards. Because when someone values you, their effort don't depend on your mood, or their loyalty don't depend on your mistakes, and their love don't depend on conditions. Rewards. And I'll tell you something, the day you stop trying to prove your worth is the day you stop attracting people who make you question it. Because energy recognizes energy. Rewards. And when you walk in your worth, people who can't match it fall away. And those who can rise to meet it, the universe stops sending you lessons disguised as lovers. Rewards. And start sending you love that feels like peace. Because you finally learned the difference between attention and appreciation. Rewards. You ever been around someone who values you so deeply that you start remembering parts of yourself you forgot existed? That's what real love does. Rewards. It reminds you who you were before life tried to convince you you weren't enough. It makes you laugh louder, breathe easier, dream bigger. It don't just fill your days, it fuels your purpose. Rewards. And when that happens, you stop chasing people who overlook you and you start gravitating toward people who understand you. And let me tell you this truth, you are not hard to love. Rewards. You were just surrounding yourself with people who didn't have the tools to love you right. Your sensitivity wasn't the problem, it was their lack of empathy. Your ambition wasn't intimidating. Rewards. It was their insecurity. Your loyalty wasn't too much. It was their inconsistency. And once you see that, you stop taking rejection personally. You start taking it as redirection wards. Because what's meant for you won't make you question your worth. To keep it, the one who values you will never make you beg for peace. They'll bring it to you like a gift, rewards. They'll protect your name like it's sacred. They'll speak life into you when the world tries to drain you. They'll push you to rise when you start doubting yourself, wards. And they'll remind you of your greatness, not just when you shine, but when you stumble. And that right there is love that heals, not love that hurts. You'll know its value when you feel lighter, wards. Not heavier, when you can be honest without fear, when you can grow without guilt, when you can love without losing yourself. That's when you'll understand that love is not meant to break you, rewards. It's meant to build you, and when you're valued right, you don't feel drained, you feel aligned, you don't feel uncertain, you feel at home, and when that moment comes, wards. When you're finally valued the way you've always deserved, you'll look back at all the times you cried over people who couldn't see you, and you'll thank God they didn't, because if they had, wards. You'd still be settling for survival when you were meant to experience abundance. You'd still be explaining your worth instead of walking in it, wards. You'd still be teaching lessons to those who never planned to learn. The one who truly values you will never make you question your worth because they see it even when you don't, wards. They speak life when you forget your power. They show up even when it's hard. They love without keeping score. They choose you not because it's convenient, but because it's conviction, wards. And that kind of love, that kind of value, that kind of connection, it don't need proof. It don't need permission. It just needs two souls that recognize the same light in each other. And when you find it, wards, you'll know not because it's loud, but because it's real. Sometimes rejection is just redirection toward your real purpose. Sometimes what you call a loss is actually a rescue, wards. Sometimes what you think broke you was really building you for something bigger. Life has this funny way of closing doors that you swore you needed so you could find the ones that open effortlessly, wards. And I know it hurts. I know it burns when that opportunity slips away or that person walks out or that dream you wanted so bad just crumbles. But I promise you, sometimes that pain is not punishment, wards. It's protection. Sometimes it's not the end of something. It's the beginning of everything you were meant for. See, when life says no, it ain't rejecting you. It's redirecting you, wards. It's pushing you back onto the path that's yours. Because maybe if you got what you wanted too early, you would have settled for something smaller than your destiny, wards. Maybe that job that turned you down wasn't a mischance, it was divine intervention saying, not here, not yet, not this way. Maybe that person who walked away wasn't rejection, wards. They were just relocation, making space for somebody who could see your worth without being told rejection hurts because it bruises the ego. But if you quiet down long enough to listen, wards, you'll realize the spirit's relieved because the soul knows what's not for it, even when the mind's in denial, wards. The universe don't take nothing from you without the intention to replace it with better, and when you look back, wards, you'll realize every no led you closer to the right yes, every disappointment positioned you for discovery, every delay developed something in you that destiny needed. You can't grow in comfort, wards. And rejection forces you to stretch. It breaks your patterns. It humbles your pride. It shakes up the illusion of control. It reminds you that nothing meant for you will ever miss you, worth, and nothing that misses you was ever meant for you. And once you understand that peace replaces panic, you stop chasing closed doors and start building new ones. You stop begging to belong and start blooming. Where you are, you stop taking rejection personally and start taking it as preparation, wards. You ever notice how the things you thought you couldn't live without turned out to be the very things holding you back? How the people who left made room for the ones who'd stay? How the job you didn't get led to the one that changed your life? That's not coincidence. That's alignment. Sometimes God will let rejection be the redirection that saves you from your own small vision, wards. because we dream limited, but the universe dreams limitless. When you're rejected, don't curse the door that closed. Bless it, because maybe it's shut to protect your peace. Wards. Maybe it's sealed because what was behind it would have drained your purpose. Maybe the timing wasn't off. Maybe the timing was divine. Wards. And you needed that detour to discover the version of yourself that could handle what's next, because rejection doesn't mean you're unworthy. It means you're being refined. Wards. Rejection ain't the absence of value. It's the evidence of direction. Every great story starts with a no. Every legend faced rejection before recognition. Wards. The ones who made it didn't let the door close and define them. They used it as motivation to build their own doors. And that's what life's doing. When it rejects you, wards. It's challenging you to see if you believe in your calling enough to keep moving. It's asking you, do you trust me when it doesn't look like it's working? And when you answer yes, wards, that's when miracles start moving, because rejection teaches you to stop seeking validation from people who can't even see their own potential. Wards. It teaches you to trust your inner compass instead of their approval. It builds resilience. It polishes faith. It ignites creativity. Rewards. It reminds you that you don't need their acceptance to fulfill your assignment. And sometimes what feels like rejection is just God saying, wards. I'm reserving you for something that won't require you to shrink. Think about it. The job that didn't hire you made room for the business you were meant to build. Wards. The person who ghosted you freed up your heart for someone who would value it. The plan that fell apart pushed you toward a purpose that actually fits. Every setback was secretly a setup. Wards. And every heartbreak was just a handoff to your higher path. When you realize rejection is redirection, you stop taking detours as defeat. Wards. You stop crying over what ended and start praising what's coming. You stop asking, why me? And start saying, try me. Because you know now that rejection don't block blessings. Rewards, it builds believers. And the more you trust the process, the more you see how even the no's were really nexts. So if you're facing rejection right now, stand tall, wipe your tears. Wards. And remember, this ain't the universe turning, it's back on you. This is the universe moving you closer to what's already yours. What's not meant for you will fall away, no matter how tight you hold on. Wards. But what's destined will find you even if you hide, and one day you'll look back and laugh because the thing that hurt the most became the reason you grew the most. So don't be afraid of rejection. Wards. It's just a divine nudge saying, keep going, your purpose ain't here. It's not the end, it's a reroute, not a failure, a filter, not a wall, a window. And when you trust that every rejection carries redirection, you start living from peace instead of fear. You start walking with faith instead of frustration. Wards. You start realizing that rejection ain't rejection at all. It's the universe's way of whispering, I got better for you.